Hey everyone, I'm gonna be reviewing a video called 12 Years of Research in 8 Minutes by Siim.
I've been interested in health for over the last 12 years since high school.
The first thing that I notice is that, once again, this is the second video of his which I'm reviewing. He's using this effect for his video. I'm sure that you also see it. Brian Johnson does something similar, but in Brian's case, it's his editing team that does it for him. They remove the contrast, saturation, and whatnot. I explained this in a short of mine. You gotta understand that I've been editing videos for over 20 years since I was a child. I notice edited footage right away. The question is, why is he doing that? And the answer is obvious. There's only one reason why you would do this. For people not to see the way you look like in reality. Not that you can really see how somebody looks like when you film yourself with a camera, but it can be very close to reality. This is him completely hiding the way he looks like on purpose. It's not as if he accidentally releases this dreamlike, super blurry footage. You know how in the movies when they show a dream and it's all blurry? That's his footage. Why would he do that? It's because he looks older than he is. In the few videos which he has released, where he doesn't use this effect, you can see that. He has dark eye circles. It's also red around the eyes, also here, kind of inflamed. He's pretty pale. Point being, he does not look healthy, but he portrays himself as this longevity expert, as if he understands everything about health. It, of course, is a huge red flag. If I would want to get health advice from somebody, especially when it comes to longevity, then I would never listen to somebody who tries to hide the way they look like. It's just automatic. It's how it should be for everybody. Because if you would be proud of your lifestyle, diet, everything, then you would show the way you look like. Because you look healthy, you look good, vibrant, whatever. The only people that I would take seriously online are people like me. Film your footage with a DSLR, do nothing to it, and release the video. You can see the pores and everything in my videos. The way you see me is the way I look like, of course, as I said. It's still, of course, video footage, but it's as real as it gets online. This is a joke.
Now I can confidently say that I'm in the top 1% of health out of all people.
What does that even mean? How? Then why don't you show the way you look like in reality?
I have excellent fitness status with high muscle strength and VO2 max.
Okay, what in any way does this have to do with health? Also longevity, which is what you always talk about. But let's just stick to health. But that's the same thing anyway. How do you define health? By how long somebody lives. How else? The sooner you die, the unhealthier you are. That's the biological way to define health. He says excellent fitness status, high muscle strength. Since when has that ever been used to prove that somebody is healthy? What he means is that he can lift more heavy metal. Okay, so you adapted your body, meaning that you stressed it, which is why you look so old, to lift metal. Okay, that's not health. Nobody defines that as health. VO2 max, how well your lungs, essentially, your overall body is adapted to stress. That's what VO2 max literally is. That's what it measures. So the higher it is, the more your body is adapted, usually to running, can also be other exercise, to exertion, to stress, meaning that the more adapted it is, the more stress you have went through, meaning that the shorter your lifespan is, the unhealthier you are. That's all that it means. That's it. What does this have to do with health? How are you in the top 1%? Because of this? And then it's a joke.
I have excellent body composition with low body fat and very
Low body fat is horrible. That's why you look older. That's why the wrinkles appear. People with body fat look a lot healthier. Can you deny that somehow? They look a lot younger because they are. Yeah, very low visceral fat is bad. Who told you that it's good?
Very low visceral fat. I have perfect blood work with everything in the optimal ranges.
Blood work? How are you actually gonna measure what is in the blood? Do you even know how it's done? You don't know anything. If blood work would work, then why do we have people on the carnivore diet with low iron? For example, it's all nonsense.
That are associated with the lowest risk of mortality and greatest longevity. I have perfect sleep and abundant energy all day. In this video, I'm going to break down.
Right, then tell us how long you sleep. Come on. Why didn't he say, I sleep 6-7 hours because I'm full of energy, I'm perfectly healthy?
On the routine that helped me to achieve top 1% of health. And the most important,
your routine doesn't matter because you don't show us the way you look like. That's it. I could have just started the video, looked at the dreamy effect he put over the video and stopped it right there. Because that's all that you need to see. Because as long as you don't show us the way you look like, nobody should be taking you seriously. Why anybody does, it's beyond me.
Since I learned during that. Here's a quick overview of my routine that I've established after 12 years of research. I do resistance training 3 to 4 times a week for 45 minutes per workout.
Stress, decreased longevity, go on.
I focus on progressive overload and getting stronger over time. Muscle growth is a byproduct of getting stronger. I do cardiovascular exercise 2 to 3 times a week.
Cardiovascular exercise is bad for your heart. That's why it's called cardio, because it stresses your heart. Come on, this is old news.
When you go out and you're a trained athlete and you're hammering up a hill full speed, or you're running a marathon, this is about a gallon a minute at rest. It's more like 6 times that. A trained athlete, Lance Armstrong, Miguel Indurain, the best athletes in the world will generate 35 to 40 liters a minute. This is massive cardiac output. And you can train up to do it, but after a while, it takes its toll. And what happens is this volume starts stretching the heart out, and the myocardial cells start getting pulled apart. After a few hours and a few decades of doing this every day, it starts pulling the muscles apart and causing tears in the muscle. And you see troponin elevations in up to 50% of people after a marathon, even trained marathoners. Half of them. A troponin is what I measure. If we come in and you're having a heart attack, we measure troponin to see if there's been heart damage. It's a sine qua non. If you have a high troponin, you've had heart damage. Half marathoners have heart damage by the end of the race. And you can replicate this perfectly well in running rats, running mice. You have to run them for like over an hour a day hard, really hard for about 4 months, and you'll see the scar tissue form, and it makes the heart, these are MRI images, it's hard to see, but you get this scattered fibrosis in the right ventricle and the atria from this volume sort of stretching the heart, causing accelerated aging in the heart.
Sometimes 90 minutes in one workout. I also have one high-intensity interval training workout per week, which can be repeated sprints or the Norwegian 4x4 workout. I sleep 7 to 8 hours without an alarm clock, but I go to bed around the same time every night, which is around 10 p.m. I eat predominantly.
Okay, he did actually mention how long he sleeps. 7 to 8. It's normal, kind of. If it's true.
A Mediterranean-style diet.
Man-made fruits with green toxic leaves and some kind of seeds, or what is that? People there eat fatty fish. They used to eat wild caught, nowadays more so farmed. That's bad. Lots of goat meat, raw dairy. Very little olive oil and some plants. Almost none, really. You eat the opposite of what the people there eat. Get out of Estonia or wherever you live, go down there and learn the truth, because you're delusional.
Seafood, vegetables, fruit, whole grains, meat, dairy, eggs.
Okay, he said seafood. Yeah, but I reviewed his last video. Really, he doesn't eat animal foods much at all. His diet is plant-based.
And berries. I eat about 120 to 130 grams of protein a day, which is 1.6 grams per kilogram for me. I eat about 200 to 300 grams of carbs a day. I eat about 70 to 80 grams of fat per day. I take the sauna 4 times a week for 20 minutes. I take a few supplements: collagen, astaxanthin, glycine, TMG, hyaluronic acid, omega-3s, and
Okay, I'm not even gonna try to explain this. Watch my video of Paul Saladino from this week. All of these supplements are toxic. They have to be. That's it. Once you watch the video and you understand it, come on. Or also my old videos about supplements. All supplements are toxic. You can't extract a molecule, seeing as you cannot even observe these molecules. You cannot do that. And that's what these are, right? All of them. I don't know what the collagen supplement is, but he's talking about molecules. Okay, maybe magnesium. Minerals are different, yeah. But even then, let's say that you could somehow extract magnesium. Still, the extraction process is toxic anyway. That's it. You're toxifying your body.
This is the routine that has enabled me to achieve optimal blood work and optimal body composition. In the rest of this video, I'll share with you the key lessons I learned along the way. And in the end, you get a routine that you can follow as well. You don't have to strive for perfection. I don't have a perfect routine. There's no such thing. But I am very consistent. I've consistently exercised for over 12 years, never taking more than a week.
Wait, he has such low body fat? Eats a plant-based diet? He basically eats no animal fat. I saw what he eats, he just doesn't eat it. Basically meaning that he doesn't produce almost any hormones himself. No testosterone, nothing. How do you have such high muscle mass? This guy's on TRT. Tell me what you want, I don't care. This guy is on something. For sure. That would also explain the premature aging even more.
Week off. My workout routine isn't perfect, and I could probably be even stronger and faster if I had a scientifically most optimized workout plan for athletes. But that's not my goal. The same with diet. I've been eating...
Yeah, you see? And you see how incredibly unhealthy he looks? And much older than he is? He was, I think, 29 in this video, maybe 28. Now he's around 30. Yeah. And he eats plant-based. This is the biggest joke channel on YouTube.
Healthy and mindfully for over 12 years, and my diet isn't perfect. But I'm consistent with my diet with the core fundamentals. Despite me not having the most perfect routine out there, I'm still in the top 1% of health in terms of fitness, body composition, and blood.
But how do you measure health? I still don't get it. Because you exposed yourself to stress? So are you saying that chronic stress is healthy? Well, you are. Actually, you are. Because before he was showing his routine. His routine consists of chronic stress that's undeniable. That's what an exercise routine is, by definition of the term. Meaning that he's telling us that chronic stress is healthy. Now tell me that he isn't. You cannot argue about it. So you want to take health advice, longevity advice from somebody who says that chronic stress is healthy, who eats plants which don't exist in nature, doesn't know what a Mediterranean diet is, and who uses some weird dream effect on his video to hide the way he looks like. Really? That's who you want to take health advice from? Sure, you're welcome to do that. Have fun in the grave.
Markers. So you don't need to have a perfect routine. You just need to stay consistent with a very good and optimized routine already. Start with the routine that you can follow and progressively overload. Get better over time. One of the most impactful things on my body composition and blood markers was adding cardiorespiratory fitness to my resistance training protocol. The truth is you should train both. Do cardio and strength training because both have unique benefits, and if you're just training one or the other, you're not covering some of the other benefits. Resistance training with weights is superior for increasing bone density, muscle mass, and muscle strength, all of which are essential for optimal health.
No, optimal health. What are you talking about? Notice how he doesn't mention nothing about longevity, your lifespan. It's just about you will be better at lifting metal. That's all that he's saying. That's what it means. Muscle mass, bone density, muscle strength. He's not talking about health whatsoever. He's saying you will literally be better at lifting metal up and down for no reason like a slave. That's his only point.
However, cardiovascular training is superior for heart health, lowering visceral fat.
How does it improve your heart health? How do you improve your heart health? By chronically stressing and exhausting your heart. Tell me that. Why do people who exercise, marathon runners, drop dead because of heart attacks and heart failure? You would think that it would improve their heart health, their cardiovascular health.
increasing heart rate variability or HRV, and brain health. There's research that combining both is better than just doing one or the other, even if you're at the elite level. However, over the last few years, I've seen more and more research indicating that doing too much high intensity and vigorous exercise isn't that healthy, and you should incorporate more moderate intensity exercise. Rather than doing weightlifting and sprinting all the time, you should also do moderate exercise, such as hiking, cycling, brisk walking, or slow jogging. The truth about food and diet is that there's no single best diet out there.
What? There's no single best diet. Right. So in nature, if you only have access to animals, there's no single best diet because we can think of the best diet. Animals don't have a diet, food which they are naturally supposed to eat. No, you can adjust it to what suits you.
Everyone reacts differently to different foods. Someone
No, literally not. What are you talking about? Everybody reacts the same way to meat. They feel amazing. What else are you gonna eat anyway?
allergic to peanuts might...
Yeah, because peanuts are a legume. It's not even nuts. They are toxic. So some people are very allergic to them. So what? It's not natural food, that's why.
die when they eat them, whereas for someone else, they're just a snack. I eat over 300...
Yeah, but they are still not good for your gut. Can you not feel the indigestion, the bloating in your gut when you eat them? What does it matter that some people react to them very extremely? It's still bad for you anyway.
grams of carbs a day while maintaining very low body fat percentage and optimal blood sugar levels, whereas someone with metabolic disease would get worse.
Look at the under eye bags. It's exhaustion. That's it. And because his videos don't really show the way he looks like, you cannot see it right now, but there was one footage where you could really see proper dark eye circles. Absolute exhaustion, very stressful, very unhealthy.
Worse health. My HOMA IR, which assesses insulin sensitivity, is 0.69, and my fasting insulin is 2.5, which are extremely low and lower than 99.9% of people in the world. What determines whether something you eat is bad for you depends how it affects your body composition, your blood markers, and your well-being. That's why it's important to adjust your diet according to your blood work. Adjust the carbs and fats based on your blood sugar levels and your lipid profile. Generally, eat predominantly whole and minimally processed.
Yeah, and he's promoting eating flowers and fruits, none of which even exist in nature.
Foods like vegetables, fruit, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, berries, and whole grains. However, eating too much healthy foods can still make you gain weight, and in so doing harm your health. So the energy balance is the most important thing.
He somehow thinks that gaining fat is bad, even though you look healthier and also attractive. I know that this video isn't about that, but more body fat just looks more attractive. Everybody knows this.
Someone eating a 50% healthy diet who's with a lean body composition and not a lot of extra body fat is generally healthier than a person who has a 100% healthy diet but they're 10 kilograms overweight.
Based on what? Give an argument.
Extra body fat is just bad for you. It doesn't matter where it came from. Keep your waist...
How? Give an argument. That's just a religious belief that you have. You've been brainwashed, mate.
Circumference below 95 centimeters for men and 80 centimeters for...
He's promoting an ED.
If your blood work shows you have high lipids, be willing to adjust your diet, specifically reduce saturated fat and increase fiber. If your DEXA scan shows you have high visceral fat, be willing to do cardio and lose weight. You test, you analyze the results, you implement the changes, and you retest. I've taken a lot of supplements in the past that probably didn't work. Here's a list of the best supplements that do work. Collagen, skin anti-aging. Astaxanthin, skin anti-aging and eye health. Lutein and zeaxanthin, eye health.
Okay, if you take something that's working, why is your skin still bad? Why do you hide it? Why do you look older?
Glycine, blood sugar and inflammation. NAC, inflammation and liver health.
Man, he says this. How do you prove if NAC is good for your liver health? How? He's just reading some texts, some studies, most of which are sponsored, which cannot prove anything anyway, because you're dealing with not observable molecules. Even if you want to believe that, you're still dealing with pretty high amounts of toxins, because of the extraction process anyway.
Magnesium, stress and metabolic health. Melatonin, sleep and inflammation. Ashwagandha, stress, sleep and hormones. Berberine, lipids and blood sugar. Omega-3s, inflammation, heart health and lipids. Taurine, metabolic health and exercise. And creatine, exercise.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the truth about supplements. I know that you don't want to hear it. Yeah, okay, run away. That's okay. The truth is that you fell for a lie. All supplements are poisonous, and 99% come from waste products. They didn't know what to do with the leftover products. It's the same with whey protein, for example. And then they thought, we will sell it to the slaves. We'll make $1 billion business out of it. That's it. You're buying waste products. They extract these substances from them, which are not what he's actually typing here. And then you consume that, whatever it is. It's not what you think it is. Look into how it's actually done. Look into chromatography. And then the result is some kind of substance. You have no idea what it is. It's nothing that's listed here, just to be clear. With a lot of toxic chemicals, because the procedure requires them to actually extract it from these waste products.
Sleeping 7 to 8 hours is the foundation to healthy sleep. However,
You just have to sleep as long as you need to sleep. The more stress you have, the longer you will sleep. Maybe he just doesn't do anything the rest of the day. That's possible. Then you can sleep 7-8 hours.
looks like the consistency of when you sleep is equally as important. Going to bed around the same time plus and minus 30 minutes is going to keep your circadian rhythms aligned, which causes less stress to the body. Mental health and happiness are incredibly underrated when it comes to overall health and longevity. The truth is that if you have poor mental health, you'll never reach optimal physical health because the way your mind affects your body. It's also easier to stay physically healthy and do the things you need to do to stay healthy if you have good mental health and you're motivated and
The truth about mental health is that if you don't eat naturally, you're simply not going to be happy. It's part of it, but it's the biggest part of it. If you don't eat raw meat, drink blood and so on, eat organs especially, you're just not going to be optimally healthy and therefore also not optimally happy. You can have glimpses of happiness, also joy, all kinds of feelings, emotions, but it's not going to be ever the same as it should be naturally when you're really following nature as much as you can in this slave system. And this guy just does not seem happy to me. He's very... I don't know what the word for it is. Maybe you know it. The way he talks. Yeah, and you need to do this to be happy and healthy. And I take these supplements and I go and exercise. Just no expressions, just kind of dead inside. That's what I get from him.
happy. Based on the research, the biggest determinant of life satisfaction and happiness is the quality of your relationships with friends and family. So you should not neglect them. Alright, let me give the core principles for your own health routine. Do both weightlifting and cardiovascular exercise. 3 times a week for resistance training is more than enough. Incorporate at least 2 moderate intensity cardio workouts between 40 to 60% of your maximum heart rate. Eat a predominantly whole foods diet, but pay most attention to energy balance. Gaining weight even on healthy foods is not healthy. Test only if you're willing to modify your diet and lifestyle. If you're eating a healthy diet, you're lean and you exercise, you probably don't need to take blood work very regularly, but it's going to be insightful regardless. Take the supplements that could improve your health markers and goals, and only the ones that actually have proven to support those goals. Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but...
Okay, what I would say to all of this is never exercise in your life. No human or animal does that. There's 0 recorded cases. It's a modern slave activity. Eat raw meat, organs, what humans eat in nature, and some fruits, maybe honey also. Never do any blood work. It's pointless. You cannot trust them. Don't ever take any supplements. They are all poisonous. And sleep as long as you need to. That's it. Follow nature. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Also prioritize going to sleep around the same time. If you think all of this is a bit too challenging and confusing, then don't worry. I've also made a...
If something is challenging or confusing, then you shouldn't be doing it, because life is simple. Okay, one of the worst videos that I've ever seen. Pretty much everything that he said is wrong, as I just explained at the end, when he summed up his beliefs, and his beliefs are wrong. And that's because he was likely manipulated into believing that. He is a typical example of somebody who wants to be happy, healthy, live a long life. I do believe that. But he just doesn't listen to his own senses. That's what's going on today. There's tons of people out there who actually genuinely want to be happy and healthy. They actually have this goal in their life, but instead of simply listening to your body and simply doing what you want to do to be happy and healthy, it's the simplest and best way. They read studies, books, listen to lectures, and then they come up with what they are supposed to do. They start believing it themselves. They hide the way they look like, and that's the kind of videos that they make. And then they influence other people. That's your typical modern health influencer who's gonna drive you to your grave. Thanks for watching.